you guys, and welcome to the Woman's Cave. It's all me
I let her have it,
today.
y'all. I let her have it because you know what? After all, my dad did call me away for his, daily beer.
Daily beer? Daily beer.
It's not a daily beer.
No, I'm
but
sorry.
But it's a beer that I just, stack in the,
the
other
refrigerator
for him.
Because, I mean, if you hang out and you've actually listened to us for a while, you know that we have this whole other place that's, separate from the house, although, we're in quarantine, but we get to walk to the other garage. It's the size of the house.
Yeah.
We get to have happy hour, because...
We call it happy hour, and he was like, hey, it's
there's no beer in the happy hour spot.
In the happy hour spot, where's the beer? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot to replenish that. That's on me. That's on me. That was on me. It was in here, warm beer, though. I think he's going to drink it.
Ew, warm beer.
Oh, yeah.
We're not huge fans of beer in the first place.
No.
But anyway, you guys, so, I have to tell you quickly about the spot. It has, the bar, the pool table, and now the pinball machine, and now we're getting Pac-Man.
I'm so excited for Pac-Man.
We're getting Pac-Man. And then after that comes skee-ball, and then we're done.
I'm so excited for skee-ball.
No, she's excited for skee-ball. She really doesn't give a hoot about my Pac-Man.
Well, let's just be honest. I have a really nice Bluetooth speaker in there, so I don't care about any of it. I just care about my music and the happy hour spot.
In the happy hour spot. All right, anyway, no.
Let's be honest.
We should talk about
let's just talk about, our books. Right, and I'm Jade.
And I'm Winona, and we remembered high five, social distance. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So now let's get to business.
Yeah. So we have the and I thoughts here.
Here's the wrong books.
Well, you did the set today, so I blame you.
I want to blame an assistant, but there's no such thing in quarantine.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna look at you again and be like, I blame you. And I thought Divorce Was Bad with Other Life Lessons, and I thought Being Grown Up is Easy. Both are available on Audible.com, which was super excited. Yay! And I thought Being Grown Up is Easy had a little remake. It's so nice now. The cover is fun, and I like it because I redid it. So it's just a little bit skewed.
Yeah.
Just a little skewed judgment.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
so there's the other 13 and I thought.
Just so many of those. Check those all out. Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. And we have the Misfit Guides of Sassy Sway and, all the other Misfit Guides. And then we have If Only I Were Me, one of our departure books, not a series, all poetry. And I meant to say this at the beginning. Our books, we like to call them literary life guides for pop poetry, a.k.a. our books. Okay, so I said that now.
Okay, and we're also the founders of
the 25 Hottest Indie Authors, Artist and Advocate magazine. You can check that out. Everything that your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com.
Did you almost forget the website?
I did, okay, so...
my
mind was in happy hour mode because my dad asked me for the beer, and now I was like, ooh, happy hour. Oh, wait, no happy hour. Bring it back in.
Work then happy hour. I'm sad now. But you're not here to hear about us.
You're here to hear from our wonderful guest that is accomplishing so many things today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. So my name is Emily Carpenter. I'm an author. I live in Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and I have 3 sons, 2 of whom are grown men and college age, and then I have a 17-year-old son. Yes, and I have a husband who helps me with all these sons.
And you have 3 sons!
Wow, that's fantastic. And first of all, I'm super jealous because food in Atlanta is amazing. And I'm just missing traveling right now. So,
Atlanta's great and has just started opening up a little bit. I'm still kind of staying home. Yeah. So there's a lot of cooking. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that means the dishes. So many dishes.
I've been doing everything in this one big cast iron skillet. So it just stays on the top of my stove, every day. I wash it, but it just stays there, ready for the next meal. So, yeah.
That's a great idea.
That is a fabulous idea.
Maybe we should pull the cast iron out again. The last time we pulled out our cast iron, we fried cornmeal-style chicken. We did the cornmeal mix, and we did fish on the grill with hickory wood and charcoal.
It was so fabulous. It was fabulous, and I was like, why don't we cook like this every day? Oh, yeah, I remember. We have to clean up after. Never mind. Let's not do it.
It's just way too much work.
Let's just have grits and call it.
But you have to cook for like 3-4 guys?
Well, one of them is not living with us, but during quarantine, he's nearby. So he would come home. So yeah, I was cooking for everybody again. So that was kind of, I had gotten out of the habit of it with one living away from me and then one at college, but they all came back. So I was like, whoa, okay, I gotta remember how to do this. So it's like, bacon and eggs every day and then dinner every day. And I mean, it's been fun, but yeah, it's definitely a new kind of routine.
Absolutely. I mean, that has to be a new kind of routine. And how are you adjusting with that and your rating on top of all the stuff that you have to do?
Segue.
I did segue, so high five. So distance style on that.
Style, but yeah, go ahead, segue. I'm sorry.
It's really weird because at first I thought, this is no different. I stay at home and I write and this is what I do. But you know what? It did feel different because like mentally we're all in this different space. We don't know what's going on. There's a lot of fear and like, it's very strange. So I just decided really early on what I was going to do is try to keep a real normal routine. So I was like getting up in the morning and I started walking because, in Georgia, we were still allowed to walk. You couldn't go to like the parks or anything, but you could just walk on your street. So I was like walking every day and then I would come back to my office and write. And it was so weird because I was really disciplined. And I think just trying to keep my mind off everything that was going on, I ended up finishing the book I was writing and writing a whole separate book as well. So I finished 2 books when we were in total lockdown mode. And it was just a good escape, right? Because I was like kind of in this fantasy world with my characters and they were, having their own trials and tribulations and adventures of their own. And I didn't have to think about, what was going on outside in the world quite as much. So yeah, it was good. Yeah. I mean, it kind of worked out for me. I know there was a lot of, my husband was stressed out and I had friends going through a lot. So, I was conscious of that, but for me, I tried to keep just things really as normal as I could.
That's fabulous that you established a routine and stuck to it. What were some of the top 3 tips that you would tell people how to establish a routine and stick to it? Because let's be honest, we all get distracted, especially as writers. We're like, oh, but this thing over here seems so much more important than writing this book.
At some point, I believe I organized my pencils on my desk.
I remember saying her do that. And I was like, would you please write this book? She's like, I don't know. I felt like the pencils need to be organized.
So tell us how you avoided this.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I watched a lot of Netflix, and there was still because I wasn't going out. Yeah, I was watching a lot of TV and movies, just kind of filling that space. And then I started trying to read a little more. I don't know. I think it helped a lot to start the day with that walk that I took. And I had also gotten into a book club like a couple of months before, so I had to read the book club book, so I decided to listen to it on audio. So I'd be going on my walk and I'd be listening to a book on audio, and it kind of inspired me to get back and do work on my own. I think I don't know, I'm not a huge exerciser person, but the walk was good. I think it kind of set a good tone for the day. But, oh, yeah, I was watching Netflix and, oh, yeah.
I think we all are watching Netflix. Let's be honest. We have been using slang, and people are like, how old are you again? And we're like, well, you see, we're watching 90s movies right now, so our slang is a little 90-ish, just letting you know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, no, okay. I know you have good questions.
No, okay, so, like, I feel bad. Because I want to talk about other stuff than the book.
I know, we want to talk about your whole career. Like, so how did you start out in this writing career?
Okay, so it was, I really started late, right? I always wanted to be a writer, but I wasn't very focused on how I got there, right? So when I was younger and in my 20s, I wanted to be an actress. And, but also I don't think I had the drive and the ambition and the focus to really make that happen. So I did a lot of theater and I did some commercial stuff, but I was married really young, and I started having kids when I was in my late 20s, and I was just very much like a mom and a stay-at-home mom, and I was always kind of wishing for something. I wasn't sure what it was, some sort of outside creative outlet, and I kind of by that time had figured out acting was not really my thing, but I wanted to write. So I started writing screenplays. And what I discovered was that the screenplay business, like Hollywood, was really hard to break into. And especially if you weren't like there in Los Angeles, right? Or New York, like doing the thing. And so I kind of, that sort of petered out a little bit. And meanwhile, I'm still raising my kids. And then I guess when I turned 40, I had this feeling like, oh my God, like if I just don't do this, like my whole life is gonna go to the end and I will have never accomplished the thing I wanted to accomplish. So I got really serious when I turned 40 and I thought, if it's not gonna be screenplays, I still wanna tell stories. So I think I wanna write a novel. So I started working on my first book soon after that. And it took a while. The first book I wrote did not get published. It was kind of almost like a practice novel. And I feel like I learned a lot and taught myself a lot. And then the second book I wrote, that's the one that I found my agent with and that ended up selling. And it was funny because I really I love to talk to women who are like, I don't know what I've got this career or I've got these kids or I've got, whatever, this job. And I'm like, your life is long, so you can do and be a lot of things. Like it doesn't have to be all at the same time. And, just encouraging a lot of younger women, like if you haven't quote unquote made it or accomplished the thing that you wanted to accomplish by a certain age, don't worry about it. I just saw today a woman is publishing her first book at age 79. And I'm like, that's fantastic. And that's what, like, we should never lose sight of that we have got our whole lives to do new things and try new things. And so that's like my sort of how I got started in this career.
Okay, so we love it, of course, right? Because reinventing yourself is kind of what the ladies do. Like that's what they do. We believe in that you're not absolutely stuck in what you're doing.
So absolutely not.
I have one question,
I know she has a question
that has nothing to do with writing.
Oh,
how do you lose motivation for acting? What is involved?
I think acting was something I liked a lot as a kid and as a teenager. And then I started seeing the business of acting was so different from like being in the high school drama club and like doing community theater. The business of it was, it was totally different, right? And like you go in for these auditions and you see like 10 other young women who look exactly like you and you're like, oh wow, like this is a competition. A lot of it is like how you look, and I don't know. I think I wasn't comfortable enough in my skin at that point to sort of be strong enough to be, it's sort of to maintain that self-esteem and to go in there and be like, this is me, you know. I was looking for that approval, and I think it just wasn't for me. I'm much better like hiding behind a computer typing away. Like, I'm more comfortable behind the scenes, I think, you know.
Awesome. I love the fact that you took a shot at screenwriting. Like, I think that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's one hard business to even think about getting into.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you write for screen things? And then I swear I'm going to ask a real question.
I mean, yeah, we're getting close to that 7-question limit. Well, no.
Oh, crap. Let me make it a 2-part question. I'm sorry. Let me yank that back. So what did you write for your screenplays? And can you tell us a little bit about being an assistant on a soap opera?
Yes. So my screenplays were kind of scattered, and mostly like there was one that I wrote about a woman who was going through difficulties in her marriage because she had miscarriages. And that one was the one that ended up getting me shortlisted on the Sundance Screenwriters Lab thing. I didn't get in, but it was kind of a drama, and it had some romance in it. So I was trying a lot of different things, right? You know, I didn't know what I wanted to write. If I wanted to write like romancy stuff or drama or epic, I didn't really know. And now I've kind of landed in mystery, but it took some experimenting, I guess. But yeah, being an assistant on the soap opera was 2 soap operas. So I worked for CBS Television in New York, and they taped Guiding Light and As the World Turns. And which was funny because when I grew up, I was NBC all the way, you know. I was Days of Our Lives, and so I had to like quick catch up and like get the stories and the history. I watched like hours of As the World Turns and Guiding Light just so I could like know who these people were, you know. So yeah, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I feel like one of my jobs was reading the daily scripts. They would tape the shows like 3 or 4 weeks in advance, maybe up to 5 weeks, and so I would read those scripts, and then so back in the day, the newspaper, like daily TV schedule, you know, would have the little blurb up for the week in the Monday telling you like a general synopsis of what was going to happen on your soap that week. So if you missed it, you know, you could kind of catch up with it. And so I would write those, and it was really educational for me to sort of learn like what were the main stories, like the A story and the B story, and who were the characters that the audience cared about, and like ending on cliffhanger. You know how it always end on a cliffhanger on Friday, and you'd be like, no, I gotta wait till Monday to, you know. So there were these tricks that the writers used, and I feel like it was kind of, I always say it was my graduate school, my MFA, because I don't have a degree, but that was kind of how I learned, was reading these incredible scripts by these very talented writers who like kept you riveted with these relationships that pretty much went on in, you know, circles for years. So it was fun.
Okay, so I have to ask the boring question, and then Jade, did you want to add?
I'll have the last question.
Yeah, okay. The boring question is, how did you find your literary agent and get published?
Yeah, so that was, so like I said, the second book I wrote was the book that found my agent. But honestly, the way I did it was, I'm a member of the Atlanta Writers Club here in Atlanta. and they sponsor a conference twice a year in May and November, and they pull in agents and editors from New York and all over, and you can pay a fee, and you can get a pitch session or a critique, like on the first 20 pages of your book. And so I did that. I did it with my first book. Oh my goodness, like I went to 4 conferences with that book and pitched it, and I just didn't get anywhere with it. I had some interest, but like I never found an agent. But then with my second book, I did a critique with an agent, Amy Clogley, out in San Francisco, and she liked it, and we talked for a little bit about like some changes she wanted me to make, and then at the end of that discussion she offered representation, and then she's the one that found my publisher and sent the book out on submission and sold it.
That's so awesome. I love it. Now, we said book a lot. What's the title?
So it's called, I don't know if it's backwards, but it's called Reviving the Hawthorne Sisters. And it is it's a dual narrative. It's set in the 1930s in Alabama and in present day. And the story is, the present day story is a young woman. Her grandmother is sort of this revered tent evangelist, faith healer from back in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. And so now the granddaughter is running this sort of family foundation. And she finds out that her grandmother might possibly have been a con woman and been involved in a murder. And so she's not quite the revered woman of God that she's put herself out in the world to be. So this woman has like 3 days in the state of Alabama to kind of clear her grandmother's name and find out the true story and keep her family's legacy intact. So
this is a wild ride.
It is a wild ride. I feel like she learned a lot from those soap operas.
I know, right?
I felt like we should be like, and then
wait,
on Monday we will find out.
Here's what I learned from the soap is that you always got to have like a really really hot guy in the mix. You got to have like the leading man somewhere in there. Guy romance.
I feel like
no, I'm
not asking a question. I was going to say a statement.
Okay, one statement.
Yeah, I feel like that you got to cheat a bit because I mean, if you were pitching screenwriting scripts and then you got to go pitch to the agents, like you just had like 3 legs up on everybody else pitching.
That's not called reinventing yourself and using that wisdom.
That's true. Using the wisdom.
I'm better. Like now I'm used to talking about my books, but back then I was much better behind the keyboard. I was very nervous and scared about pitching. It's very intimidating to tell somebody what your book is about. I mean, it's not, and like I've gotten used to doing it as time has gone by, but yeah, that can be very daunting.
It can be. So where can people pick up this book?
And learn more about you.
And learn more about you, of course.
So you can go on my website, emilycarpenterauthor.com, and also the books are available wherever. Amazon, indiebook.org, Barnes & Noble. If you can find an independent bookstore that you can order from, I'm a huge supporter of that. So call your local indie and ask them to order it. That works too.
That is fabulous. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, and hopefully one day we'll meet because I really want to taste what comes out of that cast iron.
I feel it.
Like
yeah,
I need to do that.
As long as it's not a casserole, I'm down.
Even if it is a casserole, I'm still gonna do it.
That's true.
mean, like, cast iron just makes everything taste better. So, yeah. So, hopefully, let's hope for Jaden Winona to be able to do that. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And I'll just go ahead and wrap us up. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. While you're there, take a moment, go to the Ladies tab, go down to the middle of the page, see the charities that we probably support. Yes, we know the times are hard, so maybe money is not a thing for you to be able to donate. Maybe if you're cleaning out, doing that spring cleaning or that summer cleaning or the delayed pandemic cleaning, whatever you're doing, and you're thinking about donating some clothes, books, whatever, to a charity, maybe you want to think about them. And if not, that's fine. You can go on our website still and then hit the button and see what they're doing, and then maybe you can write them a nice email, because who doesn't need an encouraging word to continue to do the good work that they're doing? We thank you in advance for that. And just remember, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona
and Jade.
Bye-bye.